there's a car that drives from A to the east. Okay, so let's say this is the A. Going to east. And that is 60. Another car starts from B towards A. Okay, the next statement, B has a direction and distance of north 30 degrees east and 42 meters respectively from A. Let's recall the topic of bearing. So in a bearing, we have a reference point. Take note of the statement from A. So A will be our reference point, and then we'll take notice of the bearing. Okay, so north, so meaning B is somewhere north of A, and east. So let's say here, this is B. Okay, so north and then east. So 30 degrees, that is measured from the vertical. So this is 30 degrees. So this is 60. The car is from B going to A at 30. And then the length, okay, the length from A to B is 42 meters. Okay, for the problem, I'm a bit confused with the units. Okay, the unit is mph. Usually this is miles per hour. We know that miles per hour because kph is kilometers per hour. But the dimensions of the problem is in meters. So baka pwede ma-confuse ang mga confuse kayo, di ba? And even me. Because mph could possibly mean meters per hour. Di ba? Pwedeng ganyan. So for the sake of this problem, let's just use miles, okay? Not 42 meters, but 42 miles. So that, yeah, 42 miles. So that the units will be consistent. So, okay na, miles per hour mph, and the unit of the distance is 42 miles. Okay, that's it. What we are looking for, though, find the time when the cars will be nearest each other. So, yeah, let's say this is the car B or car 2. They will have their distance. Okay, this distance. Let's use S for that, the distance between the two cars. Okay. Obviously, that's not a right triangle. So we are actually as an oblique triangle. Okay, an oblique triangle. So we have this length. Let's denote that as car 2B. How about Y? Okay, so this distance from the car going to A, let's denote that as Y. And then the car from A and moving forward, let's use X for that. So we now have the three sides for our oblique triangle: X, Y, and S. Remember, in oblique triangles, there are two solutions: law of sine and law of cosine. But here, the given value is a single internal angle of 60. If that is the given angle, then we will use the law of cosine because we cannot solve for the other two variables without the value of the sides. On the cosine law, it is okay, the opposite side of the angle s squared equals y, okay, one of the two sides here, x squared plus y squared, minus 2 times the sides cosine of the included angle. That is the law of cosine. Okay, let's analyze. If we will derive s, well, we're looking for ds over dt anyways, then the dx over dt is the distance, the velocity of car1. So that is dx over dt is 60. Okay. Now, looking at the car 2, its velocity is 30 mph, but this is the velocity from B going to A and not the velocity of Y. So we will analyze it further. So again, this is the total distance of 42 miles. This is the Y. Okay. Let's make up another variable here. W. Okay, that's the distance traveled by the car 2. Okay, car 2. So how will we represent Y in terms of the speed of W? Or how will we represent Y in terms of W na lang, diba? So from the figure, the equation that we can create is Y plus W is equal to 42 miles. And since we do not have the value for dy over dt, we will replace y with w. So magiging 42 minus w. So we use w because meron tayong value ni dw over dt, which is 30 mph. So we will substitute this to the cosine law equation. So rewriting it. Yeah, yan na yung new equation natin. So once we derive it, we'll have the value for dx over dt, we have the value for dw over dt, and then we'll solve for sx and then w later on. So let's expand this first. 42. Cosine 60 is 1/2, then cancel with 2 here. So it will just be minus 42x plus wx. So that is now the expanded equation. So let's recheck. Okay, yeah, that's it. We will now derive everything with respect to t. To s ds over dt x dx over dt, 0 minus 84 dw over dt plus 2w dw over dt minus 42 dx over dt plus w dx over dt plus x dw over dt. Right? So let's simplify and substitute the values that we can substitute. So 2s, so I just copy 2x, so wala pa tayong value ng x. However, the x over dt is 60 minus 84 times 30 plus 2w 30 minus 42 60 plus w 60 plus x and 30. So simplify muna natin. 120x plus 30x is 150x. 60w plus 60w, and then negative 84 times 30 plus negative 42 times 60. Okay? So simplify na natin ang equation. The problem requires us the time when the cars will be nearest each other. Nearest. Well, this is actually related to the maxima minima problem, which is another application of differential calculus. In the process, we will equate the first derivative with respect to we will equate the first derivative to 0. Equate natin siya to 0 so that we can find the value that we are looking for, which is the maximized value, to be the maximum or the minimum. In this case, nearest. That means minimum value. Okay? What we are looking for actually is the time. Okay? The time. So this should be our variable. Okay, that should be our variable. So let's try, or let's find a way that x and w will be replaced with the variable t so that we can solve for its value. So yeah, let's go back to the figure. Okay, so the w from the figure, this is the distance traveled by b, right? So w, and remember, velocity is distance over time. So the velocity of car 2 is 30. The distance it had traveled is w, and then we have time. Therefore, we can replace w with 30t. Same goes with the car 2 for the x. Okay, so let's do that here. We have 150, and the x now is from 60 is equal to x over time. So x is 60t plus 120, and this is 30t minus 5040. So let's simplify the equation. And then we will combine them. Okay. So after that, we'll equate this to 0. That is the process of getting the maxima or minima. So we may not have discussed it yet, pero that's the process. So we'll discuss it even further sa maxima and minima na siya na topic. Equals 0. So all of this will become 0. And solving for t, what is the value of t with that equation? Ito na equation. So anong value ni t dyan? 0.4. 0.4 hours. Okay, that is our answer. The two cars will be nearest to each other at 0.4 hours. Kasi nga sabay sila nag-leave. Yes, at noon. So at 0.4 hours, or if the choices are in minutes, so you just have to convert that one. This is the answer to the problem. At 0.4 hours. Though we used different variables on the derivation, and then we just replace it at the end with the required value. So we did not violate any algebraic or mathematical rule. So tama pa rin siya. Okay? So we just replace it at the end kasi nga A ang required na value. So it's 0.4 hours. Okay? So this is the problem. Okay? We used cosine law to create an equation. The variables were w, x, even y, and s. And then we derived everything with respect to t and just substitute t in the end because that is the required value. So pwedeng ganyan. Another way is to use t on the first equation. So the x, w is gawin nyo ng t para isang derivative lang. But still, the same process, di ba? You derive it with respect to time. So this is our final answer, the solution.